Types of interest groups. There are two major categories of interest groups. There are institutional versus membership. You are more familiar with membership interest groups than institutional. An institutional interest group represents an organization like businesses. And this would be like the automobile industry has a lobby and a PAC in DC that spent $70 million on the last election or election cycle. Or I've used them before, but I'm going to go through some of the top 25 and you're going to hear these interest groups again. But like the recording industry interest group, the American Bankers Association, the International Brotherhood of Teamsters. Okay, those are institutional interest groups. They represent a business or an organization. Membership interest groups are the ones that you're a little bit more familiar with. These are organizations that are supported by the activities of citizens. So not necessarily their interests aren't driven by business, but rather citizens and citizens' interest. So I have up here a picture of the American Legion. The American Legion is a community service organization. It has 300 million members, and there are 15,000 American Legions posts worldwide. That is an example of a membership interest group because what the American Legion does is motivated and driven by their memberships or their members. Okay. Economic interest groups are the largest type or in number of interest groups. Economic interest groups are going to promote the particular interest of whatever economic sector the interest group is representing. There are labor unions. Okay. Labor unions are going to promote policy that protects the interest of workers. Okay. Fair wages, good benefits, safe working conditions. Okay. The influence of labor unions are declining in America, but they're still there. One tactic labor unions use is collective bargaining to try to make sure that they get what they want for their members. And collective bargaining is when you will have a union representative that voices the concerns and interest of the larger group to bosses and government agents. In the United States, we have a phenomenon called open versus closed shop. Each state gets to decide if they're going to be closed or open shop union states. If it is an open shop union state, okay, pardon me, an open shop union state means the choice to join a union is up to you. A closed shop union state means that you have to choose, you have to join a union, so the option is closed to you. They're also called union shop. This is a provision in some collective bargaining agreements that require all the employees of a business to join the union within a short period of time of being hired. Okay, so some states say that you have to join a union. Other states, as you know, are right to work states, like Virginia. It's a state law that forbids requirements for union membership. So that's when people are talking open shop versus closed shop or union shop versus right to work laws, it refers to that. Businesses. Businesses or interest groups that represent businesses are protecting the interest of businesses. And the numbers of these business groups have increased because really businesses have the most at stake when it comes to tax law and regulatory laws and tariffs. Their numbers have increased more than anything else because they want to make sure that the federal government keeps corporate profit taxes low, that there is protective tariffs in place to protect their industries, and that there's not too many regulations that they have to follow, like pollution controls, wage controls, working condition controls. So those regulations don't undermine a business's profit. Okay. Professional. Oh, sorry. Professional groups, they're going to represent a type of profession. Here is a bunch of professional groups up here that represent the bar, and the bar represents lawyers. And what the American Bar Association does and all their state associations, it sets standards for being a lawyer. You cannot be a lawyer unless you pass a test that says you are good enough and qualified to be a lawyer, the bar. They also hold meetings and print journals. Other famous or like recognizable professional groups would be the National Education Association or the American Medical Association or the American Dental Association. So all of those groups will set standards, hold like annual meetings, and print journals or magazines with the most up-to-date information about that profession. Agricultural interest groups promote the interest of farmers. Some of the oldest economic interest group in the United States is the Grange. The Grange represented the interest of farmers and promoted it protected their economic concerns, like farmers were worried about having more money in the market, being able to buy money, worried about railroad monopolies dominating grain elevators and stuff like that. Now farmers are more worried about pesticide controls, herbicide controls, are worried about farm subsidies, like getting paid to grow corn or getting paid to grow wheat or getting paid not to grow corn and wheat. So agricultural interest groups are also part of the economic interest. Single issue groups work to promote one specific cause, hence single issue. A lot of single issue groups could be religious related causes, like the NCC, the National Christian Coalition, or their whole idea is to protect the ability of Christians to be able to pray in school or protect the right to worship. Also, the AGC protects Jewish interest. AIPAC is one of the largest interest groups in the United States. AIPAC wants to promote Israel as a Jewish homeland, and they are huge, and they have a lot of influence in the United States. Okay. Some interest groups worry about the welfare of certain demographics, like the AARP worries about the welfare of retired people, making sure that their interests are promoted and protected. The VFW, of course, protects veterans' interests, making sure that things like the GI Bill is still available, or things like the VA hospitals are up to date and good, and you can get quality care in the VA hospital. So that's some of the things that the VFW works for. The NAACP is worried specifically about the equality, the equal treatment, and equal opportunity of African Americans. Then you have, there's AIPAC too. Then you have single issue groups that are worried specifically about a type of government policy. Like NARAL is worried about abortion laws or restrictions on the availability of abortion. The ACLU is concerned about the protection of civil liberties. Everything from your First Amendment to protection against cruel and unusual punishment, to the right to be able to vote freely and fairly in the United States. So they're worried specifically about civil liberties. AIPAC, again, like I said up here, kind of it's a religious related cause too, promotes support for U.S. support for Israel. Public interest groups. These interest groups believe that if we are to be a better country, you should promote the issue that they support. So they are concerned with issues that affect all of the citizens. They think that what they are pushing is going to make this place a better world, or this country a better world. Like the environment, the Sierra Club, or Greenpeace, pushing for a clean environment. That's going to make everybody better and everybody happier. Crime protection, uh, group, anti-gun lobbyists. Okay, they believe that they'll make a world a safer place. Um, let's see. So the League of Women Voters believed that if we were able to get women's right to vote, that this country would be a better place. They were right. Mothers Against Drunk Driving. If we can end drunk driving in the United States, that would be a safer, better place to live. And then Common Cause is an interest group that wants to open up and make the system more transparent, like our system, our government system, more transparent and fair.